Hello, happy holidays, and welcome everyone, especially to our fellows and HHCC members tuning in. My name is Marianne De La Torre, and I am the Hidden Heroes Caregiver Coordinator for the Elizabeth Dole Foundation. We are excited that you are able to join us for today's webinar series, the Caregiver Community Connection, C3, presented by the Elizabeth Dole Foundation and powered by our partners at Wounded Warrior Project. We're also very pleased to have the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs join us as partners for this series as well. Today's C3, Maintaining Balance Online Yoga for Caregivers, will feature Sonia Quijada with Yoga for Caregivers. Before we get started, I want to mention to all attendees that this session is recorded and will be available in the Guides tab on HHCC or on our website. Also, we would love to hear suggestions on future topics to discuss and speakers to feature. If you have any ideas, please send them to us via email at events@elizabethdolefoundation.org. With all of that said, we will take questions towards the end. Today's moderators, Colton Whitaker and Megan Bentley, will be hanging out in the chat box. Be sure to submit any questions using the Q&A box located in the Zoom control panel. We will be taking note of all the questions to get them answered live during our Q&A. Today, we will be selecting several winners from our webinar participants during the episode. To enter into the drawing, engage with us in the chat. Today's winners will receive a free Hidden Heroes yoga mat or an Amazon gift card. Also, just a note, today's C3 features closed captioning. If you would like to disable it, go to the live transcript button in the control panel and click Disable Auto Transcription. It can be disabled at any time during the webinar. Now, without further ado, please join me in welcoming Ellen as we get started. Oh, so I apologize, Sonia, before we get started. So Sonia, on to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Ellen and I tag out, we tag team. So I'm so glad that you blend us together. Today, this is going to be a chair-based practice. So whatever straight chair that you have, probably not the sofa or upholstered, overstuffed chair that's a little difficult to move in. It's meant to cocoon us, right? So find your kitchen chair or dining room chair or desk chair. I have a folding chair here so that you can, so that I can demonstrate. Junie the cat has decided she's going to be practicing with us today also. And I'd like you to sit on the front edge, move to the front edge of your chair. This practice today is going to be gentle movement. We're going to focus on some stress relief. There's a lot of heaviness going on, even when the holidays or whatever's happening is something that we want, even when there are extra events or special people that are joining us for our life, there's still more, right? That sense of there's more to do or more to clean or more to prepare or more lines or more traffic or more waiting. And all of that more, if there's, it can put us out of, I call it, some people call it balance, but it's, you know, this sense of our self, our rhythm, our habit, our usual, and that can cause us to hold it in and to keep it and to feel the extra, the burden of more, even if it's something we want, even if it's the visitors we want, the family, the friends that we want, the feast or the celebrations that we want, even when it's good for us or we want it, there is still this sense of ugh that goes with it. That's life. That's the paradox. The yes, I want it, and it's something I have to make sure that I work through. So today's practice is going to be working through. We're going to clear some head and neck and shoulder and lung space and upper back and hip. So that is our agenda today for about the next 40 minutes or so. And it will be mostly sitting, and then we'll come and do some standing. So move to the front edge of your seat, please, so that you have room behind you to move. And then lean forward and take a look at your feet. Walk your feet forward so the ankles are below the knees. We spend a lot of times tucking our feet under and that tends to throw some things out and or pull that can build up over the day or over the moment of sitting. So when we're practicing for foundation, get the feet forward, ankles are plumb, meaning straight below the knees. And then if you look at your lap, if you look at the bones of your legs, there's going to be a space often between the knees. Now I know that we're all built differently. We are different sizes, we're different shapes, we have different bone length, we have different density and mass and distribution, and that's all okay. So please understand that as I demonstrate, as you see me do something, it might not look the same way you're doing it, and it's really about how it feels. So I'm going to use a lot of words to guide you into what's feeling in your body and where I am encouraging or inviting you to feel or experience and express and enjoy the postures. So I'd like you to begin with hands on the hips, please, and roll the pelvis forward. Just tip it forward as if you had a belt buckle. We want to point the belt buckle down toward the lap and then roll it back. So this is the pelvis that we're tilting. We're rolling onto our tailbone, and then we're rolling forward onto the pubic bone. Do it again. Roll back so the belt buckle is pointing up, and then roll forward. The belt buckle is pointing down. This is just pelvis work right now, just to warm up, just to irritate the cat that might be sitting on your lap. Do a few more. Back and forth. Press the feet into the floor. Honoring the space between the knees, squeeze in, draw in as if you're squeezing a pillow, an invisible cushion of air between your knees, just squeezing gently, and you'll feel your muscles and your legs engage. That allows the glutes to engage. That allows the torso to be supported more fully here. Let's increase the movement and add the entire spine now. So as we extend the spine long, lift the ribs and then move the ribs forward, shift the ribs forward, exaggerating as if we're showing off our back pockets. There we go. Slide the hands back and squeeze your elbows back behind you. The elbows are really going to help us guide the shoulders and the shoulder blades. Big, long stretch here. Leaning forward, but it might not look as far forward. It's about how you're feeling, like lifting the ribs up, moving the ribs forward. Now let's tuck the ribs, curl the ribs back, chin to chest, reach the arms out and feel the stretch in the upper back. As you roll back, push your kidneys or ribs back toward the chair. 4 more. Inhale, ribs up and forward, elbows back, shoulders back. Exhale, curl, tuck, roll, reach. Inhale, long spine, shoulders up and back, squeeze them, lift the ribs. Exhale, curl, tuck, roll. 2 more. Inhale, ribs up, heart forward, elbows back. Exhale, curl, tuck, roll, reach. Last one. Inhale, long spine, sit up as tall as you can. Lift your ribs, open your heart, lift, reach forward, elbows back, squeeze. Exhale now, curl up small, tuck, roll, reach. Staying here in this form, let's open up and experience some of the side body and connection here from the upper back. So reach across diagonal as if you're going to grab a drawer handle, and then keeping that elbow up, pull, 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 pull. Other side, reach out. Oh, can you feel those obliques? Oh, grab that drawer handle, keep the elbow up, reach, 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 reach. Big pull. 2 more rounds. Let's do it each side. Reach across, grab the drawer handle, keep that elbow up, pull, 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 pull all the way back and reach across. Stay rounded. We're rounding, curling, crunching the spine, flexing, I should say, and grab the drawer handle, pull, pull, elbow up, pull, 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 pull. 1 more round. Reach across, grab, elbow up and pull. Reach across, grab, elbow up and pull. And then shake our way, shoulder shrug, shoulder circles, our way up to sitting, reverse direction now, and add the locomotive kids game, right? The chugga chugga choo choo. Get your whole hands, arms, elbows, shoulders into this movement, but slow it down enough that you can get elbows and shoulders higher than you think, so that you feel all of it down that line. Feel it into the waistline, feel it into the low back, feel the connections into the hips. Whew. From here, adjusting again, if you slide like I do on the chair, sitting up tall. Now let's open up. Big, big, big. So the idea is that we're gonna have sort of rounded arms as if we've got a great big ball or a great big hug. So open up, open up, open up, lean back, open up, lift your ribs, lean back, arms are open, big, big, big. And then exhale, reach forward, round, 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 and close down toward the knees. 2 more. Inhale, open up, lift it up high, reach the arms out back, behind. Exhale, come around, come around, come around. Can you feel those connections we're asking the muscles to make here as we stretch and move at the same time? Inhale, open up, arms up overhead, expand out wide, lift the ribs, look up, lean back. Oh, and then last one, let's close. Make that transition and come in and round and round. Inhale, long spine again. Lift the ribs, raise the ribs away from the waistline, shift the ribs forward, hands on the knees here, and we'll exaggerate coming forward, 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 and then slide one hand back onto the hip, come down onto the elbows, perhaps you can, perhaps that doesn't work for you, and you just press your hand into the opposite knee, you choose. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, check your chin, meaning drop it slightly, like you're clearing your throat. Slide your ears back to as if you're trying to press your head on the wall, and then glide your nose to look behind. Breathe, either on the elbow or pressing the hand on that front knee. Press the feet into the floor, squeeze the knees into the midline. Engage the legs. Hug the muscles around the bones and then come out of it. Whew, some good stuff. Let's do it again. Inhale, long spine, raise the ribs, shift them forward. Breathe as you need. Check in with your foundation, feet, legs, everything's engaged. Then we'll come across, slide the hand back to the hip, and either come down onto the forearm across the lap and turn into the twist, or press the hand onto that front knee. Inhale, long spine, check your chin, slide your ears back, and then turn and look behind. Breathe here. Expand outward as if you're striking a pose and then you're trying to be as big as possible, playing statue tag in your living room with your family members around you, but you're trying to be as big a statue as possible. Breathe. Come out of it. So let's play around with opening up this neck space. I'd like you to play around. We're going to open up, strengthen and feel. Let's explore these neck muscles. Let me turn to face you a little more. So first, make a fist and let's bring it under the chin. Can you see me here? Bring it under the chin. So bring it under the chin and then drop your chin slightly as if you're clearing your throat. Slide your ears back as if you're trying to press the back of your head, touch the wall behind you. And then for a count of 10, we're going to press down. We're going to push down onto the hand. Here we go. Press. Breathe as you need. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then release. Can you feel the work, the flush that happens when we do that? From here then, check your chin, slide your ears back, and glide the nose over to one shoulder. Breathe. And then up slowly, arc the nose up and then down over to the other side. And breathe. Again, up and over. Breathe. One more time. Up and over. Breathe and release. Feel the flush that happens when we do contraction and then release, engagement and expansion. Now let's play a game. Let's pretend we have a long, a paintbrush attached to our nose, or a Pinocchio nose. And so we're going to use our nose to guide some circles out here. But first we have to check the neck. So check your chin, slide your ears back and feel the expansion, feel the lengthening that happens here in the cervical spine, right up here at the base of the head. Now with this, let's make some little circles. and let your head go wobbly while you make those circles. You'll feel and you'll hear the mushiness and the crunchiness back behind you. Go slowly enough that you can actually feel it or hear it, and then reverse direction. Maybe begin to get larger with the nose directing the circles out here in front of you, making invisible painting in the air or on the wall. But we want to feel and open up the space where the heavy head rests on the top of the spinal column. It's called the occipital space, the occipital ridge, the occiput bone. And then stop. Bring your chin, let your chin drop, just be comfortable here. And so without pressing the head forward, let it be heavy. Stay for a breath, let the head be heavy. And then lean forward, slide your arms, maybe come onto your elbows if that's accessible to you. If not, just shift forward and let your head be heavy. Let it dangle, let your neck be soft, and your heavy head is just pulling down. And you'll notice if you shift your body forward or raise the torso back upright, that it changes the weight of the head. From a comfortable position, leaning forward, letting the head dangle, roll the nose over to one side as if you're giving somebody the eyeball over one shoulder, perhaps the cat. And then down and over, look over the other shoulder. Breathing, down and up and over, who's stealing the Christmas cookies? And down and over, who's baking the Christmas cookies? And come back and up. Feeling that opening, the pulling that is required for us to make space. That's what happens when we pull into the adhesions, the attachments, the tension, the edges. So good for us. Okay, come forward now and let one arm swing. Swing it back and forth. Maybe making some little circles. Your legs will get in the way, so the circles can't be very big. But we're going to swing it back and forth. And then shift sides. The other arm swings. Just opening up, letting gravity and momentum lure the shoulder into feeling the spaciousness that can exist when the muscles aren't in the way, when the tendons and ligaments and injuries and aging don't complain, when they can stay on the bench, we tend to have more freedom. Sitting up now, let's do some muscular opening of it now. So let's do some party feast, holiday feast, hi ho, hi ho. So shift the arm back and forth, feeling that muscular movement from the front of the chest, the underarm and the back of the shoulder, the upper back, and the other side. Hey ho, a few times, opening this. All right, now let's do some side stretch. Inhale, sweep the arms out wide to the side, reach up. Exhale, lean over to one side, have the hand on the chair so that you can stay in the chair and not fall out. Lean over as far as you can, lean, lean, lean. And then settle both hips, sit into the chair and push into those ribs. The ribs on the other side, push into them even as you're pulling away from them. Pushing and pulling, another paradox of life. We allow the yoga practice to give us space to work out our stress, to work out our thoughts, but also to let us practice some habits or practices of how we want to live off the mat, our yoga of life, how we handle everyday issues. Stretching and reaching here, come back to center. The other side, inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, come over, the hand on the chair and reach away. Lean, 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 lean as far as you can. Lean, 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 stay in the chair. Falling out of the chair is frowned upon in this establishment. So now settle your hips, put both hips flat on the chair. Feel that move, push into the ribs, the far ribs, push into them even as you're pulling away. Press your feet into the floor, sit up tall, raise the ribs away from the waistline. Breathe, reach, shift a little in it. Notice the attachment, notice the differences, notice any space that we can create, and then come back. Let's visit each side a second time. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, come over. Settle in. Now you know, settle the hips, push into the ribs, pull away. Stay here to breathe if this feels good to you, or perhaps join me for some movement to see if we can use muscular energy to generate organic energy and open up more. Let's relieve some of that tension by shifting the muscles and our circulatory system and lymphatic system and endocrine system, immune system. So inhale, move the arm out of the way, look up at the ceiling. Exhale, look down at the floor and reach out across. Reach, reach, reach. The plate of cookies is over there. Oh, inhale, reach back and look up. Exhale, look down and reach. Inhale one more time. Look back, look up. Exhale, look down and reach. Oh, and then come back to sitting. Can you feel all of that flush, all of that expand, that engagement happens, the compression that then allows the circulation. And that's where healing happens. And that's where we release tension and stress. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, over to the other side, hand on the chair, reach, and then settle into the pose, pushing into the ribs, pulling away. Stay here if this is what works for you. Raise the ribs, press the feet into the floor, or join me for some dynamic movement. Move the elbow out of the way. Inhale, look up. Exhale, turn and look down at the floor and reach across. There's something yummy on this side. If it's not cookies, what would it be? Eggnog. Inhale, look up. Exhale, look down and reach. Again, inhale, lean back, look up. Exhale, turn and reach and squeeze and come back to center. Oh, good stuff. Feeling it all in the side body, in the core, in all of these attachments of the low back. Let's do a nice gentle twist now. So it's going to start with the hips. That's what controls the torso. What's happening in our torso, in our upper back, is because of what's happening in our lower back. That's the connection of our body. So let's slide, keeping the feet where they are. Slide one knee back as we're getting crooked. So we shift a hip back, and now we're cattywampus in the chair. So our torso naturally is looking over now one of the thighs. So this is the front leg and the back leg. Let's make 3 big circles, reaching the back arm, the back shoulder. Sweep that arm up, back, and down. And again, sweep it up, back, and down. You might find that bending the arm at the elbow helps get it up. Sometimes the elbow helps include all the members on our team, especially if we have shoulder injury or rotator cuff issues. So now that we're back, you choose. Do you want to use core work to hold the arm out? Or do you want to use the chair to help engage and you can feel all of the muscles working here? Or would you rather take a rest slightly and have the hand on the hip, but then you have to make sure you get the shoulder and the elbow onto the backside? It doesn't matter, you choose where you go. The front hand comes across to this opposite leg, and let's visit with the hands, strong hands, let's visit the hamstrings and give some love. Give some love to the backside of the thigh. And then find a place behind the knee. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, pull the ribs through, check your chin, and slide your nose back behind you. Squeeze both legs into the center line. Raise the ribs away from the waist. Sit up tall. Press the feet into the floor. And once again, be the statue in the room, but make yourself as big as possible, as if you're trying to shine so that people can find you. Breathe. Come back to center. Ooh, can you feel that flush? This is so good for our internal organs, for our digestion, for our elimination systems. So good. It's detoxing. Let's twists are really good that way. Let's do the other side. Slide one leg back. So we're going to get a little crooked. And 3 circles now with that back arm. 1, 2, reach up and back and down. And 3. Reach up and back and down, and then you choose arm you hold out yourself, or reach to the chair and engage the body as you press against it with some torque, or the hand comes on the hip, but you have to move that shoulder and elbow back behind. Front arm comes across to the opposite leg, and let's visit the hamstrings. With your hand, grab some handfuls of hamstring, do some hugs, some visiting. Those cousins, the hamstrings, don't often get love. Most people complain. Most of the rest of our body complains about them. Inhale, long spine, raise your ribs, bring them forward. Exhale, check your chin, and glide your nose back. Be here in your expression of the pose. Find the place that feels the best for you. Press the feet into the floor. Squeeze the knees into that midline. The knees don't touch, but we draw into the midline. Sitting up tall, expand out, radiate, shine, breathe. Come to center, feel that flush. It's so good. So check in now with your furniture because, or with your posture, your seated foundation, because it depends on the furniture we're using and the size of our leg bones. When we start doing open hip stuff or asking our legs to move in the hips, our hips need to be high enough that the legs can be low enough. There are times when we feel if we're trying to cross our leg, this is what we're doing. I'd like you to cross your leg. But there are times when, because of injuries or age, if I'm crossing my leg, my knee stays way up here, very high. So I have to sit higher because of my military injuries. So sitting higher now, my hips are higher than my knee. So check in with yourself, with your furniture, so that we can cross one leg over. And now that knee is still high, but it's not as high. It's not all up here in my ribs, in my armpits. So we want that knee to just float out there. Draw the toes back on the foot, spread the toes apart. Press the other foot into the floor. Inhale, long spine, raise your ribs, and not rounding, but instead just moving the ribs forward. Woo! You don't have to go very far to feel it. You'll feel it down the back line, between the hamstrings and the IT band and the glutes, right? And so maybe the hands just rest on that front leg. Don't press. The hands and arms are heavy enough. Soften and relax, wiggle, do some shoulder shrugs, shoulder circles, breathing. In through the nose, big breath. Open mouth, sigh it out. 2 more. In through the nose. Open the mouth, sigh it out. 1 more. In through the nose. Open the mouth, sigh it out. So good. Wiggle here. Wiggle the hips a little, get a little crooked. If anything is shifted, sometimes we end up coming a little more into the pose, sometimes not. Sometimes the body says, nope, not today. We're staying right where we were put. Nothing softened. And that's okay. That's the practice today. Let's shift sides. So I apologize for, well, let me move my chair. I don't want to offend anyone with bottom of my foot. So let's do this way. So the other leg now, other ankle comes across on top of that knee. Draw the toes back, spread the toes apart, spread them apart as much as you can. You'll feel all that musculature happening. Push the energy out through that heel. Push the foot into the floor, push the foot into the floor, draw both knees, squeeze the legs into the midline. And you'll notice what happens, the musculature engagement, right? Raise the ribs away from the waistline and just shift the ribs forward, leaving the heart up, leaving the shoulders back, being here, breathe. This side is easier for me, so it's less wasabi, it's less eyebrow watering, eye watering, it's less eyebrow prickling, but everyone has their side, right? We have one side who goes, oh yeah, that's not so bad, and the other side is feisty or spicy or sassy. So just breathe here. We're going to wiggle in it a little, maybe rest the hands on that front leg. If you're into it, if you can lean forward, you can put your elbows. I can't get there. I have lumbar injuries and disc herniating. I can't do that, but if you can, you go there. Put your elbows down and lean into it. I'm going to stay upright, breathing here and just shifting. Shift a little from hip to hip, and then let's do the 3 big breaths again. So draw the legs into the midline. Inhale through the nose. Raise the ribs. Open the mouth, sigh it out. 2 more times. Inhale, long spine. Open the mouth, exhale, sigh. 1 more. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, sigh. Oh, so good. Wiggle, move, slowly come out of it, adjust and shift. Move the knees wider apart now. Have the ankles and the heels still be below the knees. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, let's come down into a forward fold. Come down, let the belly and the ribs and the body, the torso just come down between the thighs. Hang out here. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And then use your hands to raise up. Let's do a couple more. Inhale, long spine, raise the ribs and reach the arms out. Exhale, you can have arms out if you'd like more work, or if you're moving into this smooth softly today, have the hands supporting you. Shrug your shoulders, have pointy elbows, move back and forth. And let's come down as if we're doing switchbacks. We're going from side to side, visiting one leg, one thigh, and then the other. Shifting the torso, the belly over, visit one knee, and then the other. Sliding around again, let's come down, visit one foot, and then the other. Come to center and push down to rise up. How is that? So good. Let's stay for a little while and do a twist. Inhale, long spine. You can sweep your arms up if you'd like. Really stretch, reach, and then exhale. We're going to come down. And if you can, reach your fingers to the floor. Let me back up so you can see me a little more in the screen. So reach your fingers to the floor. Let your head hang here, just like we practiced earlier. Let the head be heavy. Let it dangle. Soften the neck. Perhaps even arms are strong and straight, fingers on the floor, but let your heart melt between your arms, as if your torso is just dropping, but your arms are holding you up. Let the head hang, breathe here. Wiggle now, as if we were, slithering or climbing or moving along, but we're staying put, but moving, shifting one shoulder up to the ear, and then we move the torso over to the thigh, to that leg, and then the other side. So we're getting crooked, we're getting wiggly, as if it's a little slow dance we have with ourselves in this forward fold. So we are a slight inversion, is when the head comes down, when the heart lowers. Really good for perspective, for stress. It soothes the tensions. If you do not have heart history, you can actually let your head come down toward the floor, let your torso drape as if it's pouring out from your hips, from the pelvis that's seated in the chair. If you do have heart history and you don't know if you're allowed to invert completely, you're going to stay supported with strong, straight arms, but let your head soften, let the head hang. If you know that you can go upside down, then drape, come down. You'll feel it. You might feel it in your inner thigh. You might feel it in your hips. You might feel it in the low back. Move slowly and gently from side to side, curiously, to explore the edges and to create space. And then if you are all the way down toward the floor, bring the head and heart up to meet everyone else here with arms strong and straight supporting us. Breathe here. Put one hand on the floor under the face, the other hand comes to the leg. Push down into the leg, pull toward the knee. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, turn the ribs and the face toward that elbow. Look over the shoulder and breathe. Press your feet into the floor. Feel your backside engage. Come back to center. Change sides. Other hand on the floor under the face. Hand on the leg, push down into the thigh. pull toward the knee. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, check your chin, slide your nose and turn your ribs to look over that shoulder, that elbow. Breathe here. Press the feet into the floor, show off the back pockets. Breathe. Come back to center. Both hands on the legs now. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, push down slowly to rise up. Allow your body time to equalize, to accommodate all of the changes in the body, in the system. Okay, sit comfortably now where you are, and let's do some breath work that helps expand. It's actually really good for pulmonary health. This is called three-stage breath. You can see there, three-stage breath. So we'll breathe into the belly like a balloon. So you'll feel it get big. Breathe into the belly and then keep breathing. Breathe into the ribs and you'll feel them expand onto the sides. And then keep breathing and you'll breathe up into the throat. Take in as much air as you can. Sip even a little more. Feel full, full, full. Hold, pause for a few heartbeats, and then exhale, blow it all out. Nose or mouth, it doesn't really matter. And push it out, push it out. Use your muscles to push, 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 push. Get that diaphragm to push up. We want to empty the lower lobes of the lungs because that's where the heavy, moist air collects. We don't tend to breathe deeply enough. And that's where germs reside and they like to fester there. So let's do 5 big rounds of this. Are we ready? Inhale into the belly, into the ribs, up into the throat. Pause, hold, breathe, push it out, push it out, push it out, push it out. Again, into the belly, into the ribs, into the throat. Hold it, feel it, appreciate your capacity, and then blow. Get it all out. Go, 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 go. Blow, blow, blow. Get it all out. Empty, 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 empty. Again, into the belly, into the ribs, into the throat. Exhale, blow, get it out, blow. Be empty. Inhale into the ribs, into the throat. Feel it full. Allow it. Appreciate it. Get it out, blow. I think we have one more. Into the belly, into the ribs, up into the throat. Hold. Exhale, blow. So good. Settle now. Just notice. Reach an arm out. Pull the hand back. So this is what it looks like. Pull it back and then remove the arm as if you're pushing the wrist forward and pulling the hand back, but allowing this rotation. Other hand, reach it out and then pull back and you'll feel it. So push straight and move around into all of that prickliness. We have to help our wrists for carpal tunnel. We have to really stretch and strengthen in order to relieve carpal tunnel, and then it affects elbows and it affects shoulders. So good. First hand, now the fingers point down, grab it with the hand and then pull it toward you. And now rotate the elbow again and you'll feel all of those connections. Second hand, reach, pull into it so that you're feeling it right here. Pull it here and then rotate. Good stuff. Bring the forearms together and we're going to roll the wrists, but the hands have to move out of the way, but it looks almost like a dance. So roll the wrists, the elbows come up and then around. Let's do 2 more in this direction. Again. It's almost like an offering. And then let's reverse direction. Make the fingers big, express it, feel, get all of these muscles that we're stretching and using at the same time that we don't often. Make fists, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Do some wrist circles or revolutions, and then open up big, 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 and then come down as if raining the Itsy Bitsy Spider song or snowflakes. Do it again, make some fists, roll around, and then big, open up, open up, open up, and then wiggle, 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 wiggle. Our hand health is so important, and we will do more in the C3 episode next month when we're talking about self-care. And there's so many things that we can do for hands and feet that help relieve, and tapping for head that really help get rid of our stress. It's a great way to sprinkle in our self-care a little here and a little there. Sit back in your chair now. We're going to take the last couple of minutes in a seated Shavasana rest pose. So sit back, feel the chair supporting you. Let your legs splay. Rest your hands in your lap or on your belly if that feels good. Sometimes, and so it's interesting, the neuroscience in our brain, if we hug in ourselves and sort of cuddle or swaddle ourselves, it can be very soothing for the central nervous system, because the brain can't, the raw cells don't know the difference in our nervous system, don't know the difference between somebody else hugging us or us hugging us. And hugging is a human requirement. Our nervous system can be so soothed and calmed by the sense of closed in, feeling safe, feeling secure, feeling comforted, feeling loved, feeling valued. Practice it if you haven't. And if you've been doing this, let's change sides so the other arm takes a turn being on top. How do I do that? There we go. Wiggle in, sort of grab your own hips or waist or ribs and hug in. Sometimes we can do it up here from shoulders. Just feel in, squeeze in, give your body some love, some appreciation. Breathe. 1 minute of quiet and stillness in our Shavasana. Let your body soften. Allow it to soften and let go. Sometimes we can even feel it soften. Especially if we're sitting, we notice that things shift or fall or adjust. Let your stress or anxiety or tension, let it melt. Tell it to go. Give it permission. The worry and the fret don't serve us. Wiggle fingers and toes, shift your body. Bring your hands together at heart center. I'll close class by chanting one time, and you're always welcome to join me. Inhale. Om. Breathe, lift your heart, open your lungs. Wholeheartedly living and choosing the life you want to live. Thank you for joining me in this practice. Thank you, Elizabeth Dole Foundation, for inviting Yoga for Caregivers. And you can always find more at our Yoga for Caregivers Facebook group. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sonia, for that wonderful session. We will go towards Q&A. We received a couple of questions from our audience. So the first question I will ask is, I messed up my rotator cuff in my shoulder. Is there an alternative to the length we can do the shoulder stretches? I am experiencing a lot of discomfort doing the shoulder stretches.
Great question. So yes, there are lots of things you can do. And of course, be sure to check in with your physical therapist and do all the practices that your physical therapist tells you to do. But for rotator cuff and shoulder injuries, especially if getting it, a lot of times it's the getting the arm up. So sometimes we can lift it in one direction, but we can't lift it in another direction. So then don't. Bring the hand to the shoulder and use the elbow to guide what feels good, and only go into the edge of where the discomfort is. Don't go into pain, but allow the discomfort of, okay, here's the edge, and you'll play around with moving and stretching so that you still get the length happening, you still get the opening in the joint. And the key piece for rotator cuff or shoulder issues is to prevent frozen shoulder. And that's where leaning forward and doing the circles, or standing and leaning on the edge of a chair or a table, and you're going to want to do your shoulder circles to prevent your frozen shoulder. There's so many other things that you can do against the wall. You can probably do an internet search, or certainly ask your physical therapist for options. That is my background, therapeutic biomechanics, but I don't want to take up too much time in this one, just doing your shoulder injury. So if there's anything else, I will answer that first, and we can come back to more.
Okay, great. And then our second question we have is, what are exercises that help release tension in the jaw and neck to avoid headaches?
Okay, so one of them we did by opening up this occipital space, because this is the mushy area where the heavy cranium connects to the neck. And because we tend to do a lot of rounding, right? We sit and round and we reach forward, whether we're holding or cooking or reading or tending or lifting or driving, all of this stuff that we do forward or at the table. So you can, at the desk, right? So you can see this rounding that happens. And then the head comes forward. The head comes forward, and that, so the head comes forward, and that puts more pressure on the cervical spine and the connection to the head. So the first piece that I would say is check your chin and slide your ears back, or slide your throat back, so that you can feel the extension here into this space. And then from there, you're going to come down and you're going to practice slowly exploring the down and up of chin and nose, down and up, and you'll open up that space. It's amazing what can happen. The other suggestion that I have for jaw is to open your mouth and wiggle it. Singers, performers would tell you that this is what they have to do a lot. Until you open it and move it around, because that's what creates it. Muscular movement is what gets circulation happening. And it is the circulation that then clears out the toxins, that clears out inflammation. So you have to move. And when it hurts, and when it's stuck, or when it's stiff, or when it's sore, that's actually when we have to move. We've got to get that compression and the contraction, so that that's the body's natural mechanism for flushing and shifting things out.
Great. And then we actually have another question here asking, should you eat before a yoga session?
Great question. It depends. That's always the easy answer. It depends, but I'll continue. It depends on what you're eating, what your constitution is, and what practice of yoga, what style of yoga. We did not do an enduring muscular yoga practice today. But if there is a hatha practice that has you doing full body and full muscles and body weight and shifting and leaning and bending and getting up and holding a leg and turning around and huffing and puffing, anytime you're going to be doing some huffing and puffing, you probably don't want to have heavy food in your digestion, right? You don't want a full belly for that. But if it's a smoothie or some crackers and tea, or a banana or an apple or a cup of soup, and then you're going to do a gentle yoga practice or a chair yoga practice, and that probably is going to be okay. It really depends. It depends on you, and it depends on what you're going to be asking your body to do.
Great. And our last question is, where can we find these recordings? And I can answer that one. Our recordings can be found at our Elizabeth Dole Foundation YouTube channel, which will be posted as a link on the chat soon. And with that, we will conclude our Q&A portion, and we will announce our giveaway winners. So congratulations to our giveaway winners. Please email us directly at events@elizabethdolefoundation.org with a good mailing address, and we will get those prizes to you. So our first winner is Gabrielle Riffman, Valerie Campbell, Anita Grady, and Dorothy Dimas. Hopefully I'm saying that right. The email will be posted over on the chat, so please make sure to get us your mailing address. And with that, Sonia, is there anything else you want to cover before we wrap up?
I think the biggest lesson that I would always share or encourage, remind especially caregivers, is to be gentle. Be gentle with yourself. Be compassionate with yourself. Be gentle in your sense of standards or expectations or how much you think you're going to get done in a day, and prioritize your self-care. It's so important that January is the focus of it for here at the Elizabeth Dole Foundation and the Caregiver Connection. So please consider that through the holidays. Pace it. Don't have grand expectations. We're not perfect. We're human. We can't ever get everything done, but you have to tend to yourself and be gentle and loving and compassionate to yourself.
Thank you, Sonia. As always, amazing wisdom and advice from you. Great. So if you're not already registered with HHCC, we encourage you to join our Facebook group for updates. Our group is an inclusive community for military and veteran caregivers of all eras. If you care for a wounded, ill, or injured service member or veteran, we would love to welcome you into our community. Visit hiddenheroes.org/register to get started. Be on the lookout for a follow-up email from us that will include the recording of today's webinar, Sonia's resources and organization info, and the link to register with Hidden Heroes. And don't forget to register for the next month's session on Tuesday, January 11th, so save that date on your calendar. Registration is required for each month's Maintaining Balance Yoga session. To register, visit hiddenheroes.org/C3. Also, as a military or veteran spouse, child, parent, or friend, we know your days are packed with responsibilities. That's why we launched Respite Relief for military and veteran caregivers, which offers family caregivers of veterans or service members access to free short-term relief with the help of in-home care professionals. Please connect with us and take advantage of this free opportunity. And you'll find those links right in the chat box. Thank you everyone for joining us today, and a big thanks to our partners at Wounded Warrior Project and the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs for supporting our C3 series. We hope you enjoyed today's C3. We wish you a happy holidays. Please stay in touch and have a wonderful day.